hi guys. We are back again with another World Cup video, and we have to talk about of course, the World Cup. And you've seen the title of this video, unless I changed it. And obviously, the African nations are doing us really, really proud so far. Obviously, we are not going to be able to get all 10 of us to go to the next round because Tunisia are already out, but there's a chance, right, that we could get 9 of us to the next round. And I think that would be fantastic. That if we're able to get 32 through to the next round, and nine of our guys would be there out of those 32. That's a what? That's 1 in 4. A little more than 1 in 4. A little, yeah. So it could be like let's say like 1 in 30, right? No, sorry, 1 in 3. Yes, about 1 in 3. So that means that for every 3 eliminations, right, we should see one African country go through or go out. I'm not too sure about that, but I think it's brilliant for a multitude of reasons. I remember when I was younger and Africa had only 5 spots at the World Cup, thinking to myself that this is so dumb. We have 54 nations, bro. Like, why would we have only 5 spots? And people would always point to, oh, it's the performance. A lot of these continents that have been able to get this performance spots, right? They were playing the World Cup when it was just 8 teams, 12 teams, 16 teams, right? You're obviously going to do a lot better and earn your performance spots. But I think so. This World Cup that we had, actually, Africa has 9 slots, and then we have an additional spot due to the World Cup playoffs, right? So when we look at what we've done in this tournament, right? Obviously, um, there's a chance that we won't get all 9, but let's go through the African teams that are like available now. Obviously, Morocco obviously became the first to secure their spot, and then South Africa, who a lot of Africans right now are not really too in love with, right? But they are through. It's good for the continent's football at the end of the day, right? And you have Cote d'Ivoire who are also through. So that's 3 out of 4, right? Because Tunisia already are also going home. But you come to Egypt. Egypt could top their group. That could be huge. Egypt could top their group, and Cape Verde have, I think, the most God sent opportunity in the world after fighting to an incredible draw versus Spain, fighting to an incredible draw versus Uruguay, which they gave the game away to Uruguay, right? They now have the point blank. What's the word? I have to read more so that I can get more vocabulary to be stepping on you guys with, right? But they have the chance to go lights out and become part of the few nations in history, especially African nations, who would make it out of the group stage on their first appearance at the World Cup, right? Um, I think if they beat Saudi Arabia, right, they will have 5 points, and Spain will likely beat Uruguay. And I mean, assuming actually, so if they beat Saudi Arabia 5-0, like Spain, of course, very unlikely. But if they were to do that, they would go above Spain. If Uruguay were to beat Spain by a lesser goal difference, Cape Verde would top the group and possibly get an easier draw. Of course, I don't know about that exactly, because there was a group that I think the person who finished there was going to face Spain, and it was no slouch. So don't really quote me on that. But let's continue going through. Cape Verde now have the brilliant opportunity of going to the next round. You have Senegal, who have absolutely soiled their bed, for the lack of a better word. And I think they've been by far the most disappointing African nation because they came in with a lot of expectation. But with that being said, they are not out. They are not out yet at all, right? And I think this actually serves them very well because they are going into their last game against Iraq knowing that they need a heavy victory to go through. And what I'm happy about with that, right, is that um, they've gotten better with scoring as the tournament has progressed. Obviously, France was a difficult opponent. They wasted a lot of chances, scored, but was it enough? Koulibaly's been dreadful this tournament, by the way. But I think they will need him definitely, because I don't think Iraq will be able to stretch Senegal like the way the other two countries were able to do so, right? So they need to beat Iraq. I think they need to get a positive goal difference and 3 points. And I think to do that, they need 3 goals, but to be on the safer side, they need about 4 or 5. So they could go through very easily. And Algeria also have a chance to get revenge on a team that ensured that they went out about what 52 years ago or so, by beating Austria and qualifying second. And obviously, if they do that, right, if they do beat Austria by whatever margin, that helps Senegal greatly, because now if Senegal are able to win with a positive goal difference, Austria will drop down with a negative goal difference and to allow them to qualify. We love to see it. Brothers helping brothers. And now, of course, Congo also, who have only 1 point, will face Uzbekistan, who have 0 points. And if Congo are able to get this dub, they will have 4 points, which, as we know, tends to be enough. 4 points and the positive, well, their goal difference will be zero, so zero or positive, and that would favor us a lot better. And of course, the Black Stars of Ghana, my nation, guys. Before this tournament, there was so much anxiety about what we're going to be doing in this tournament. People were really concerned that they were going to embarrass us, but they've made everybody so proud. They fought valiantly, but this is not the time to stop. We absolutely have to fight as much as we can within this last game against Croatia, and beat Croatia by as many goals as possible. Because England's goal difference is only one better than ours, but they haven't played Panama. Panama are no slouches. They've only conceded 2 goals so far in this tournament, right? Same as England. The difference is the ability to score. So obviously, if Panama can do something for us, we'd be grateful. But I think we have to focus on ourselves, and we have to try and, like, wallop them, and also go through as first. If we go through as first, however, right, I think that we would face DR Congo, and I really don't like that. I really don't like that at all. That we'd have to face one of our 9 brothers to get through to the next round, but at least it ensures an African country in the next round. But I digress. Something I want to talk about is that, and one thing that, like, I think that we can attribute this um, possibly incredible surge in African football at the World Cup to, again, like, if we have 9 African teams in the round of 32, that's going to be sensational, right? But obviously, there's still a lot of work to be done before we can have that. But if we are to get that, even if we are to get 6 or maybe even 5, right, it's still a good thing. As long as we don't be playing each other and be knocking ourselves out in the next 2 rounds, yeah. But you have countries that have, like, outsourced heavy, basically, right? You think about Congo, you think about Morocco, you think about Algeria, even Ghana, right? All of us have done really well in terms of getting players who are of Ghanaian descent but born outside to come back and play for these countries, right? Our countries. And it was big. I think South Africa are the only nation that used 100% South African players, right? Born and bred and battered in their place. The less said about those guys, the better. But I think that when you take that into consideration, with the fact that our teams are very young, right? It kind of, to me, presents a possible shift in mindset and ideology about African football, right? And I think a big leader for this is Morocco. Morocco have absolutely destroyed everybody in terms of the way they've been able to get their talents from everywhere, and everybody wants to play for Morocco. Even if they know they don't get some to play, they prefer to play for Morocco. And I think that that's incredible, and I think that's something that we should all do. One thing that I feel like in 10, 15 years time, we may come back to look at as possibly a shift. You know, and this is not me criticizing this player's choice. It's just me acknowledging that this could have possibly been something big, right? When you look at the best players, right? The best players usually play on the best continents. So through our history, South America has had Pele, they've had Maradona, Messi, obviously, right? Suarez, you name them, right? Every continent has always had a statement larger than life superstar. And I'm just wondering if in the next 15 years, we look at the decision of Lamine Yamal to choose Spain over Morocco as a big determining factor in why Europe would still be up there in terms of football. Let me explain why. When you have, it's like brain drain. It's like reverse brain drain kind of, right. You grow up. If you grow up, what did I grow up watching? I grew up watching Didier Drogba at at Chelsea in the latter part of his years, right? And I grew up watching Yaya Toure. I grew up watching Dede Ayew, Andre Ayew, Samoa Jan, right? I grew up watching people like that. Samuel Eto'o was fading out by the time that I was really watching football. And the biggest African player in my time was Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah. Riyad Mahrez too. These three are not the size of Lamine Yamal. I'm sorry. They are fantastic players, and they are players who defined an era of African football that I think this transition that we are seeing into this possible 9 African teams in the next round of the World Cup, it's because of these three guys. Not obviously not solely because of them, but these three guys have a huge part to play in it. It's not a coincidence that they are still active in their teams, and these three might lead their teams into this next round, right? But I really feel as though if Lamine Yamal had chosen stay, I mean, there's been so much of players coming back to play for us that if Lamine Yamal had chosen to stay, right, I have a feeling that young guys, right, watching football, right, would hear, oh, you are Senegalese, oh, you are Angolan, oh, you are Mozambique, right, all of those things, right, and you'd realize that you have a chance to play on the same stage as Lamine Yamal at one point in your career. This is very heavy Lamine Yamal plays, I know, but I just really feel like this continuous influx of foreign talents, right? Diasporan talent. Let me use the right word. Diasporan talent back into our shores, right? It should only continue, but it should only be continued in a healthy manner, right? I don't think we should now be trying to get 30, 28-year-old players who know that they are not going to get some to play for England or going to get some to play for France, so they are coming back. Unless they are like exceptional. If Romeo Lavia is 25, 26, right, and he has decided to give up on Belgium and come home, grab that guy. Grab that guy immediately. Immediately. We should not waste any time on that, because that's what Morocco have done, basically. And we have to invest heavily in our youth systems. There is not a single African squad at this tournament that has the teams over the age of 30. I think everybody is actually under the age of 29, apart from Cape Verde. And there's the thing about averages, right? Vozinha is 40 years